Hey everybody, it's Miss Adine, and today I'm going to be making a sample page of optical illusion art. I've drawn a bunch of different rectangles in different sizes by hand and with a ruler to try it out. So I'm just seeing about the size of my page, and I've decided to go freehand instead. These are like sort of waves. And they're sort of fun to do. You can do them really quickly by hand. So you do an even number of lines going out, and then you make curves in each and opposite directions for every one. And it doesn't look that optical illusion-y yet, but hopefully when I add the color, it will. So I'm using gel pens. And this is a metallic blue. It's a really pretty color. And a light blue in between, again with the gel pens. And it's amazing how fast this is being sped up. So I used the side paper to just test out my colors. This is a really dark color. So I can go back and forth with dark and light. It's a dark purpley color. And now I'm using a gold in between. You can actually see the ink move for the gold. It's very kind of cool. And here I'm using this like bright glow-in-the-dark green. I love to use really bright colors. And I'm using a green felt tip marker for in between. It's a little bit harder to keep it neat with these markers because they sort of bleed. The gel pens work a little bit nicer. Clean it up a little bit, and now I'm using some glow-in-the-dark orange. Again, lots of really bright colors, contrasting colors from light to dark. Those are things that help it make it look like it's moving. And this really, really dark blue. I think it's starting to get that wavy effect of like, you know, three-dimensional and moving. I've never tried to make optical illusion art before, and it's a little trickier than I thought. I like this purple. It's, you know, one of those big intensive markers. Those are the felt tips I'm using. And here's a silver gel pen in the middle. Silver and purple look nice together. And the gel pens go over the felt tip marker, so it makes it a little bit easier to clean up the edges. Now for some yellow. And this is a really bright yellow. It's like neon. So you can see that I need to go back and fill in a little bit more because as I worked I left some out, but I quickly did that. Now I'm using I think this is a green. It's hard to tell on camera. and this really nice, it's like a magenta red. And you can see how wet the ink from these gel pens are. And you have to be careful not to sort of smear them for a minute. Now for some bronze gold. And some more of that purple. And I'm using a light green or medium green. And a pink for my last one. I like the way that looks. And zooming in and out, a little bit too quick. And now I'm trying another one. So it's sort of like an eye. You can see I sort of drew it and then erased it and drew it again. And now I'm going over it with the black marker. I'm not going over it exactly. I can erase any pencil lines that stay. And use a little bit of white marker, a white gel pen to erase any mistakes. So my zoom is a little funny. I don't have an automatic zoom. I do that by hand. I'm sure some people must have a really great automatic. So here, I'm trying to figure out a way to make it look like it's going in a wave. So I didn't cut out my erase and start over because I just wanted you to know that like everyone sort, you know, has to figure things out too. So I'm going over my black lines and then erasing any of the pencil just to make it a little bit cleaner. I kind of like the way they look. So here's an optical illusion where it looks like this horizontal tube is sort of in front of a background. And I like the way this looks. So it's all about lines in one direction and then in another. And I'm cleaning up again with that little white pen. And this one is just a checkerboard curve. So I drew the lines sort of in two different curves and made them into rectangles, and now I'm filling in every other one. So the whole paper gets a little bit of an effect of a curve there instead of looking flat. Now with my left hand, I'm not as neat as I would be with my right, but I don't think I'd be that much neater anyway without a ruler. There you go. And here I'm doing a thing with triangles, that you make a triangle and add lines to the center. Each one has 4 lines. And I don't know how much this works as an optical illusion or if it's just a really kind of interesting wavy pattern. but it's kind of fun. And I'm going to try to make this page look pretty regardless of how well each optical illusion works. And I'm going to have to practice and come up with some cool things. So far so good. Now I'm doing a sort of a wave of like snakes. And each one's going to have different patterns and different colors. So now that I'm watching myself do this, I could have used more like wavy or circular and changed the patterns from each wave instead of going back and forth between like some angular and then wavy or bubbly. And maybe next time I'll try it again differently. But they're sort of fun to make regardless. And I love spirals. Spirals are just so fun. They work with everything. Filling in the background because I want it to look like there's another spiral or another wave so that it doesn't end right there in the middle. And now I'm just coloring directly over for the most part. I'm not going to color in each little thing. I'll add a couple details. So here I'm going right over that dark pink with a dark purple, and I added some orange and yellow up top. And I'm going over and adding some gray. And then some turquoise. So I like the way you can sort of layer markers and add the darker on top of the lighter so you don't have to worry so much about filling in each and everything. Now for some bright green. And some light pink. I think it's a really cool pattern. I like the way the colors look. But again, I'm not so sure it's an optical illusion. I think it's just, more of a line doodle drawing without it being a picture. I'm really going to have to work on this and find out exactly how to make really good optical illusions. It's probably going to take me longer than this week. So for the bottom, I'm doing a really simple sort of like where the wall meets the floor. And I think it does work for an optical illusion because it does look like it bends. And now I'm going to fill in the background with black so I can make, clean up my edges and make it, make all of the bright colors in the black and white stand out a little bit nicer. I hope you like my video. Don't be too hard on me. It's the first time I'm trying this and I totally need more work. But try this and tell me what you think. And I like the way this page looks a lot more with the black behind it. It makes everything sort of stand out a little bit better, pop a little bit more with the colors. And this is where a T-square ruler comes in really handy to make quick straight lines. I'm using a really wide black Sharpie, and I'm turning it upside down so it's a little bit easier for me to use my left hand and get everything nice and straight. I hope you really like my video. Tell me what you think.